He's facing 6 months till a maximum of 2 years in prison for his classmate after stabbing him to death in a bathroom.
Guys, he deserves prison time. He killed somebody. He stabbed somebody in school. He deserved more time.
Criminally negligent homicide is all he's been convicted of. He's facing 6 months till a maximum of 2 years in prison for unaliving his classmate after stabbing him to death in a bathroom. Now, I brought you guys this case a couple of weeks ago with Caysen Allison because I felt like it bared so much similarities to the Carmelo Anthony case. And both of these cases are in Texas. Both of these cases involve teens, and both of these cases involve knives where people are saying that they were acting in self-defense and feared for their lives. And I don't hear any outrage about this. I don't know if you guys are hearing, but yesterday, Caysen Allison, who is the white teen pictured here, okay, he went to his school with a knife and he unalived his classmate, who is this guy, Joe Ramirez. They're both 17 at the time. This happened back in 2022, just to give you guys a recap, and then we'll talk about the verdict, okay? Back in 2022. Now, the difference between Caysen Allison's case and Carmelo Anthony's case is that Caysen Allison actually knew Joe Ramirez, okay? They had ongoing issues and had agreed to fight, okay? They agreed that on this particular day, they were going to show up to the school and they were going to get it over with because they had been going back and forth for a little while now over a girl, right? According to the mom, it was over a girl, but multiple people testified they saw Snapchat messages, group chat messages, that these two agreed they were going to fight. Now, on the day that all of this happened, Joe Ramirez went into the restroom with the group of his friends. Caysen Allison came later with a group of his friends, and it is being reported that Joe Ramirez threw the first punch, okay? That is when Caysen Allison took out a knife and stabbed Joe Ramirez multiple times, okay? Remember, with Carmelo, he only stabbed him once and then he ran. Caysen stabbed Joe Ramirez over 5 times. And they say there is video of Joe Ramirez coming out of the restroom and collapsing in the school hallway after he exited that restroom. Caysen Allison ran home. He was arrested and charged with murder, just like Carmelo Anthony was charged, right? And he was saying that he was acting in self-defense. His bond was set at $1 million. It was dropped down even lower than Carmelo Anthony's bail was dropped down, right? Because his was dropped down to, I think, 150 or 175. It was somewhere in that 100,000 range. So he's been out for almost 3 years, okay? And so the verdict came back yesterday and he was acquitted of that murder charge. They said they found him guilty, okay, of criminally negligent homicide. And the jury believed that he was acting in self-defense and fear for his life, even though they had several people who testified and said that Caysen Allison had threatened Joe Ramirez on multiple occasions, even though they had Snapchat and group chat messages to prove that Caysen Allison knew that on that day he was going to fight Joe Ramirez, and he still brought a knife. So only he knew that he brought that knife. Joe Ramirez had no idea, and they still found him guilty of criminally negligent homicide. So he's only facing up to 2 years for doing not anything similar to what Carmelo Anthony did, because I feel like his was more egregious. His was premeditated, in my opinion, right? He knew that he was going to fight Joe. He knew Joe. He had threatened Joe on multiple occasions, and he had a substance issue, but he still was found guilty on the very lesser charge. So they allowed him to go home. After they came down with the verdict, he's still allowed to go home until his sentencing, right? And I don't know if that's because he's out on bail. I don't know the logistics and all of that, but very interesting. So I'm really looking forward to see how this Carmelo Anthony case plays out.
Okay. Carmelo Anthony, so this was and seems very premeditated. He brought a knife to school. They set up the fight. They was going back and forth. This is why I think that people, man, they need to stop watching so much goddamn on TV, bro. If you're not about that life, don't even get all tough with nobody. Period. 2 years is extremely light for murdering anybody. 2 years is very light. But people would think that he's getting that because he's white. He's a white man. Everybody is making a lot of noise about this because of the Carmelo Anthony thing. Guys, he deserves prison time. He killed somebody. He stabbed somebody in school. He deserved more time. I think we're all saying that, right? Aren't we all saying that? So they're saying, where's the outrage? I believe this is the outrage. There's a lot of outrage. She says, where's the outrage? All I'm seeing on my timeline right now, I put in Caysen Allen Ramirez video, and I'm seeing nothing but outrage. There's a bunch of outrage. So people do want to see Caysen go to jail for a longer period of time, or just as much time as Carmelo is going to jail. We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week. And you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace. What's the argument being made here? Seems to be a lot of outrage. Everybody want to talk about how the white kid intentionally brought a knife to school and unalived a Hispanic kid. And here's the thing too. A lot of times when we have these conversations, there's so many things missing. It's crazy. There's so many things missing. It's like when you see a picture of Carmelo Anthony, you're going to see a picture of him, looking nice and smiling, or they're going to have him looking like a criminal, looking like he's a killer, looking like he's dangerous. They're also going to show you supporting videos of when he was in a fight with his basketball team and he put his foot on somebody's head while they was on the ground, or when he's taking pictures and he's holding guns. The same way that they're talking about Caysen Allen contacted his friend about buying a gun and then showed up to school with a knife. But then the flip side is we talk about Austin Metcalf and how he was a bully and how he threatened to break his phone, how he threatened him the day before at a party, how the person who was unalived was actually the one that was trying to force some physical back and forth, trying to force a fight, trying to just show that they was more powerful than the person that killed them. That's what Austin Metcalf, what a lot of people are saying, the people that support Carmelo Anthony are saying, that he was the bully in the whole thing, that he started it all. It was his fault that any of that took place, right? But in this one right here, nobody's saying anything about Joe Ramirez and how he played a part and how this led up to a fight at all. All of these things are conveniently being left out. And that's the part that I have an issue with. Kids meeting up and fighting in the bathroom, this is stupid. When I was in high school, one of my very first fights that I had was in the bathroom. Bathroom fight, it was a big fight. It was a big fight. Everybody was excited about it. All of us went into the bathroom. I had a couple of my boys with me. The other guy had a whole gang he had a crew with him. I just had my man Burry. I don't know if Val was in there. I think Val was in the bathroom with me. I had my man Burry. I know Burry was in there. And I don't know if Val or Ty B was in there, but one of my other friends was in there. But I do know Burry was in there. That was my right-hand man back there. And the other kid, he had his whole crew. But I was a little knucklehead. So I enjoyed those type of things. And if one of us would have been unalived in that, one of us would have pulled out a knife in that situation, it would have been wrong. And I'm glad we didn't. But that fight was talked about for a long time for some things that happened. But I agree. This young man, 2 years is not enough for taking somebody's life, period.